they sell in St. Andrews. St. Andrews Golf Course, one of the oldest courses in the entire world.
Scotland.
Scotland. A little weathered.
I like it. It doesn't have any sweat stains on it though, so
You don't sweat golfing. Maybe some people do. I'm not a big sweater while golfing.
what if you're playing Palm Springs?
Then you're in a bucket hat. Then it's different hats, different applications.
Okay.
You're definitely in a bucket hat with some ice water in it. Put it on. You're good to go.
Now, will you wear a bucket hat off the golf course just in your everyday
So
get up?
there's yes, but has to be the right one. Like they sell them at, I don't know. Do you guys have like farmers markets?
Yeah, every Friday,
Okay, so,
Hermosa Beach.
right. So we have a farmers market, and there's all this unique, stuff being sold. And then on the outskirts, there's always someone selling like knockoff, gear.
Yeah.
And this person's always selling these nice Mariners bucket hats.
Ooh.
I've been so close to buying one, but I
Get
actually
me
bought
one.
I will
I'm an
get you
M's
one.
fan now.
I'll get you one. Okay, buckets.
Okay.
I will get you one. I ended up buying my mom a Seahawks pink one as a trial, and she loves it. So
Love it.
we'll
And I
pick
love
up some
talking
cheap
to you
buckets.
every Thursday.
Here we
So
go.
thank you for joining the show, and thank you for listening in, wherever you are, wherever you may be. It's Big Ben and K-Win. Each week we broadcast live on nofilter.net, YouTube, Caffeine TV. If you prefer to listen to us and not watch us, don't worry. We got you covered. Audio podcast. Download, listen, and subscribe. I'm K-Win. He's Big Ben, and he will not call out Kyrie Irving because he does not want to get lit up.
No. Whew. I feel like the energy that Luka doesn't have has just been garnered by Kyrie in a more able body, as we've seen last night. Like Luka just doesn't have all of Luka. He's ailing a little bit. I feel like Kyrie's been given the opportunity to be like 1A again, and he's shown he can do it, which has been pretty remarkable. I didn't see them winning game one in Minnesota. I don't think they believed it either. Seriously, I did not see them winning game one. And I saw a headline that said tough film session for the T-Wolves. Tough film session. I don't know what that means. It probably means they didn't do their closeouts. They didn't box out. They didn't do all the stuff you need to do to win. And Kyrie's a beast.
Well, the tough film session, I didn't click on the article, but I did see the game. The T-Wolves started out in a great position. All the other guys were scoring. Jaden McDaniels, I think, hit his first threes. Kyle Anderson, a.k.a. Slow-Mo, was scoring. Ant was distributing and rebounding. He didn't have to score. Like, they got so much support off their bench and from their other non-Cat and Anthony Edwards, and they were winning. The problem is Kyrie was going, Luka was cruising, and then Luka got going in late in the game, and the Timberwolves turned the ball over down the stretch. They didn't have composure. They didn't get easy shots. And I thought back to how did they get in this situation? Because they swept the Suns, and the Nuggets series, while it did go 7, the games they won, there weren't that many late game situations that they had to get used to prepare them for this. And Dallas has been in these types of games all year long, all playoff long, and they have the vets to carry it out.
Oh, if you were to stack rank, say the starting fives, just quick, starting fives for each are on the floor. Give me your top 3 clutch players. 3, 2, 1.
Luka, Kyrie, and Ant, if he's not guarding Kyrie for 40 plus minutes, he was exhausted by the end of the game.
But what I'm saying is Dallas has those 2 top probably clutch players on the floor at that time. Ant's still relatively getting into this playoff process, exposure wise at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be a Dallas might, you see, what was the score after the third quarter? It wasn't the highest scoring game. It was kind of a slodge towards the end.
Yeah.
Minnesota was running their offense through Naz Reid at some point that got really bad. Do you think Minnesota? You got to imagine this game at least goes 7 games for this series.
I think it goes 6 or 7. Going into this, I'm thinking Minnesota because they have the defense, they have the length, they have multiple bodies that they can throw at Luka and Kyrie. But now hearing what you just said, they don't have two closers. I don't even know if they have one closer.
Exactly.
And the thing is Luka and Kyrie can close, and they've been in different situations on how to get a bucket. Like the thing I'm scratching my head about with Ant is like, if they're going to double team you, you either got to go quicker or you got to figure out another way to get a bucket. But he's almost just kind of playing like he did in game 7. I'm going to get everyone involved. That's fine through quarters 1 through 3, but quarter 4, you got to get a bucket for your team, just like Luka and Kyrie will.
Yeah, I don't see Cat taking over games all that much. You know, you don't. He's kind of a passive scorer. I think that he closed out the other game against the Nuggets with like a, run to the rim, follow up dunk. And there's just not, like a couple dogs. Coaches are dogs on my team. I think there's 2 dogs on the Mavs. I don't see one on the. Seriously, I don't see one on the Timberwolves. I don't see a guy that says, I'm going to get my bucket, my shot. I'm going to get the line. I'm going to get what I need and what we need to get, whether that's a 3 or, a pick and roll. I need to get where I spot. Both Luka and Kyrie can do that. Proven.
Well, with Cat, he's a 1B. Like he gets his buckets from like a swing pass or a 3-pointer, or they do the 4-5 pick and roll. But he's a big guy that plays out on the perimeter who's more of a catch and shoot player rather than a drive and get me in a package, get a shot. And that doesn't work down the stretch. Kyrie can finish in so many different ways, right or left, mid-range, 3, and Luka, 3, mid-range, post up. Ant right now is either try to get all the way to the rim or shoot a 3, but they're just sagging in on him because no one else can do anything to get their own offense.
Yeah, the Mavericks they're athletic enough to be able to scheme for someone like Ant and be able to make up for it on the back end. Because like Karl-Anthony Towns isn't the quickest guy. He's like the Klay Thompson of bigs, right? He's serious. He's like the Klay Thompson of bigs. He's not going to do anything to get to the rim or get by you in a single dribble. And then Rudy Gobert has no offensive game. Like my mind blows when there's a drop step. It seems like he just throws it up from the hip. If I'm the Wolves, that film session better come up with a solution. Like how are you going to overcome the double team? Because right now they can't. Because Jaden McDaniels isn't going to shoot that good either throughout the series. I know that.
He's not.
I know that. So,
and also like the way they're guarding Luka, they're doing the drop D, and so when he gets around the pick and roll, he puts the guy on his hip, and he just gets to wherever he wants to, or he gets fouled. And Gobert is trying to guard Luka and the guy going for the lob, and it just seems too easy. Like the Mavs points are too easy. The Timberwolves points seem too hard, and I don't think they're going to shoot lights out from the 3-point line.
No, again, I mean, who's dangerous? And is
recency bias. I'm going Mavs in 6.
There you go.
Mavs.
I'm thinking Cuban ran some analytics. He's got some new analytics company in the background that knows exactly where to put the guys on the floor. But yeah, Dallas has a hot hand, and they got a lot of athleticism. That's the thing. It's like PJ Washington is an athlete. He's got bounce.
Derek Jones Jr. is an athlete. Derek Lively, Gafford. They finally have the pieces around Luka and Kyrie.
That's what you want in pick and rolls, guys running to the rim. Like, if there's a missed shot from the mid-range, clean it up. I'm with you. 6. Mavs in 6. Mavs Celts.
Mavs Celts. There it is. So you don't have to watch the next week and a half. It's Mavs Celts.
No, you actually don't. Probably not. All right, you want to talk Shohei?
I want to talk Shohei Ohtani, and listen to me loud and clear when I say this, Big Ben. I know you drift off thinking about your bad golf round from last week or how your M's are going to blow the AL West, but listen to me. Shohei Ohtani will not pitch another game in Major League Baseball. He is done pitching. He will not pitch anymore. You heard it here first, Big Ben.
Is he going to have to take a pay cut then?
No.
Did they sign him based on like under the guarantee that you will pitch? There had to be some stipulation in that It was monstrous. It was $500 million. There's no way there wasn't some sort of understanding into, yes, you're going to pitch, and yes, you're going to bat.
That was the understanding. I'm saying it's completely changed.
Null and void.
Null and void. And here is
Sharpie.
why. He is having such a great offensive year this year that they can't risk the possibility of him pitching and having the Tommy John surgery because he's going to miss a long period of time, and the Dodgers cannot win a World Series without him. Listen to these numbers. He's leading the entire league in batting average, total bases, hits, OPS. He's 1 percentage point behind Kyle Tucker. He's got 13 stolen bases. He is the only person in the league who's got double-digit stolen bases, double-digit home runs. He's going to go 40 for 40. He's fourth in the league in home runs. And this is the best part. His WAR, as of today, I think it's 3.1 or 3.2. He's tied for fourth. Mookie Betts and Kyle Tucker are in first place at 3.5. Shohei plays no defense. And his WAR is, that's how good he is. I don't think they could risk him pitching anymore.
This is a perfect sport. Remember sports reporters, where it's just the elderly journalists that would sit around back in the day? This is a perfect sports reporters debate because you have so many ways to look at this. You as a manager, what does your team need? Do you need pitching? Would you throw him out there in the instance where you need a spot start? What are you risking in that case? Do you continue to prepare him for opportunity to pitch? Like, I get it. But if he's that good, go back to when he was pitching. He's a pretty good pitcher.
Yeah. I'm just saying, look at all of the best pitchers. Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. Like, all these guys are getting hurt. Like, the numbers are astronomical. And then he would have to miss. So if he got hurt this year, he's done this year. And he's done at the beginning of the next year. Dodgers got no chance without him.
That's the risk you run. He could get hurt, tripping over first base, right? There's that inherent risk. But I get what you're saying about the elbow and him also sacrificing for the batting. I got to think there was something in that contract that stipulated that's a lot of money to give a one-way DH.
Well, there's performance on the field, but there's also the revenue he generates.
That's true.
The merchandise, the TV revenue.
So here's what was my argument around Ohtani. And I did look this up. His salary's $2 million. He back-weighted it his entire, right? He's got endorsements coming out of his ears. Here's my thing about Ohtani. Here's why it's not that impressive. He's getting paid boatloads of money to do exactly what he's doing. Be the best player in baseball. He's getting paid like it. He's performing like it. It's all relative. Like, what's more impressive to me is if there was a 5'7" guy who just got called up from AA and had 12 jacks and an OPS of 1,000 or whatever it is, and he's getting paid $1 million. That's more impressive to me.
I will argue the opposite. This contract is so huge. I thought he would never live up to it. So you're saying he's living up to his contract?
I'm saying it's relative. Let's say it's so he is the highest paid player, whether it's in factual or actual dollars per year. Let's just throw it out.
Total contract value.
Total contract by far, right? And he is probably not by far, but by a good margin, the best player in baseball. Like, it's relative, right? And so my argument is Shohei is doing exactly what he's paid to do.
That's fair.
We're giving you big bucks to deliver, and he's doing that. And that is hard. That's really hard. But my thing, which would be more impressive, is if you're some guy getting paid peanuts, is producing at an all-star level. That's all I'm saying. Shohei, I think your argument's a good one. We need to get a collective on here and talk about whether he should come back as a pitcher or could just continue as a batter. If you measure wins above replacement in aggregate, that'd be interesting to understand. Because, if you got a guy hitting like he is and then pitching like he is, that's probably 10, 12 games.
That's true. At
both positions. So 20 plus games, you're winning just because of Shohei. That's crazy. That's Babe Ruth. I mean,
better than Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth Did not throw 100 miles an hour. He was
No,
not that dominant of a pitcher.
no, he wasn't. Thinking through this, I think the Dodgers should go back and see what what did Babe do? Prepare as both a hitter and a pitcher. Like, not
He
to
was
say
eating
that
french fries, drinking beer every day.
exactly. Like, maybe there's some formula, but I think this is my own opinion. Shohei is a phenomenal athlete, getting paid a ton of money, and he's delivering. That's pretty remarkable. But I also
True.
think they're going to be calling upon him to pitch at some point.
I'm sure they will be. And he got through the betting scandal earlier in the year. And I personally don't think he bet on baseball. But if he did, I hope he bet on himself to win AL MVP this year.
Easiest money you can make. I mean, it would be one thing. I'm going to take my entire $2 million salary and put it on me to win the MVP. That'd be delivering.
I mean, the thought process is Mookie Betts is going to hit in front of me. Freddie Freeman's going to hit behind me. I'm for sure going to win AL MVP. So go take this bucket of cash and bet it on me. Go to your BetMGM account and pick Shohei.
Yeah, his buddy, the interpreter was just the fall boy. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I do want to make one comment. The biggest winner in this entire Dodgers. When I asked you about your shirt where it says Death Row, I thought it was going to for sure picture the entire Los Angeles Dodgers lineup.
Ooh, I like
because
that.
Teoscar Hernandez is having a year in and of himself. And it's not the thing is, it's not in Colorado where people would say, oh, it's just playing amongst really, really good players. And it's kind of the definition of, when you're playing in a lineup of really good players that can protect you and get you more fastballs, he's delivering. And he's going to parlay that. He's on a 1-year deal. He'll make 2 to 3x on a long-term deal coming in after this.
Hitting in baseball is not easy. Baseball's not easy, but it does get easier when there's runners on base.
Yes, exactly. when you got a ton of sac flies, it's kind of nice.
Yes.
All right, you good on Shohei?
I'm good on Shohei. Where do you want to go next?
No jinx on Shohei. I like what he's doing.
I like what he's doing.
I want to talk NIL. So we haven't talked about this, and there actually is an article that just came out right before we came on that says the Power 5, they're going to allow schools to pay athletes. And some will argue that's probably the right thing and should have been happening from the start. Now, NIL, I think, is going to be an entire entity in its own. And I want your opinion on this, because what I've seen is collectives. Let's call them collectives. And I'll give an example. This kid, Rashada, quarterbacks out of California, signed with Florida because they gave him $13.8 million, and the collective found the money for him, right?
Is the collective
I think the collective
is that a booster?
It's a group of alumni boosters that have a collective interest.
It sounds like a loan shark.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, quit calling it collective. Call it like a performance reward group. I don't know. But anyway, these guys paid this kid $13 million. He's now suing them for the money that was promised to him.
Yeah.
For a university where he did not play at, right? So there's already some gray area contractually. But more recently, this player played at Utah State. He's now playing for UW basketball. He got $2 million.
Great. Osobor.
Mr. Osobor got $2 million, which is the most that came out of any kind of contracted money NIL value out of the portal this year. So my question to you, what's next? Like, where is the NIL going to go? And where is it going to stop? Like, because I have a theory, but I want to hear yours.
Great. Wasn't even like top 6, I don't think, in the portal. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they better get a better agent because they're looking at him. He got $2 million. Good for him. Mountain West Player of the Year, double machine. Danny Sprinkle went from Montana to Utah State to UW, recruited him along the way. So great for him. Where does this go now? I don't know if I can answer because I'm so confused. So NIL can come from a collective or a booster. So that's one revenue stream. If now the Power Five can also pay you, that's two revenue streams. So you could get 1 to 2 million from like a booster, and you can get other money. It's going to incentivize players to stay in college longer. So maybe it will improve basketball, the college basketball game, where we'll get that face who will stay along a lot longer and not have the, oh, I got to leave because I got to support my family. Like, you're probably making millions and millions of dollars over a period. I think it's great for the athletes. I just can't figure out how they're going to do it because for every quarterback at Bama or point guard at Kansas, there was a lacrosse player at Santa Clara. Like, how do they make it equitable?
Right. I think I haven't read the article yet, but I do think it's interesting allowing universities to play because I think they'll find an equitable way to pay the scholarship players on scholarship, whether that's, to be honest, it might be ticket revenue. It might be something along those lines, right? Like football players are going to have more absorbent, but how do we spread that across so that all kids are getting equal amount of funding relative to, I don't know, the amount of money that's brought into the university by their sport? Maybe. Who knows? The NIL, I think it's going to come down to this. Like, there's got to be some regulation around it. That kid getting 13.8 million K win, that's astronomical. That is crazy. That is the combined like earnings, lifetime earnings of like me and 15 of my friends collectively. Like it's a lot of money.
And they would, if they get to the NFL, they're making more money than like the veterans in the NFL day one.
Practice squad player gets paid 450 grand in the NFL to bust his butt. And this guy's getting 13.8 to maybe even, to play 7 games. I think it comes down to this. I think, and this is where like the analytics come in. I think there's going to be a attributed value to, it's going to be like arbitration. You go in the portal and you get an assigned value to you. Meaning if you want to have this kid come into your university, this is his NIL value based on his stats, based on his
it's an appraisal value. Like you appraise a home in a certain area and the demographic. You're doing that with a player based on his stats and his performance. Like this is a point guard who averaged this in this conference. He can get 1.5 to $2 million.
Exactly. And that way there's some sort of like kids are incentivized to not only play well, but obviously they're incentivized to perform well. And maybe that means more kids in the portal because that's the only way to really get money. But effectively, maybe what we've seen is a lot of guys go from smaller D2 or non-Power 5 schools to Power 5 schools. Maybe that's the way to make some money and get some notoriety. Because there's portal for basketball, football. I'm sure, I don't think there's one for baseball or men's lacrosse, but I think there's got to be, I think this bidding war there has to be some, like, to your point, they're going to tie a value to the individual and then you can only give 10% more maybe than that value or 10% less, but that's what they've earned, right? And I think that's one way to go about it. They
got to do it. It's almost like it's the salary cap in a different way for college sports, right?
Right.
Like, all right, you spent X amount of money this year, and then next year your cap goes up a little bit more, right? You can't just go out and pay 50 million and get the best players, and then everyone else is like, hey, we don't have 50 million. We can't get these players.
Right. Who knows how big the collectives are at UT, at Bama, Michigan, right? If it was up to them, you got to allow those the Iowas, the Iowa States, those types of schools who also compete in the NIL framework, but attributing a value to a certain individual, not having someone come out and bid 30 times just to be able to take them home. One way to do it, I think, but also limits the value of the collective individual. I don't know.
Love it. I want to fix the transfer portal.
How?
So if your coach leaves, you can leave. I agree. If your coach leaves, you can leave. But if your coach is there, you can leave and transfer one time. And the next time you want to transfer, you still can, but you have to sit out a full year.
Do you carry the scholarship at the school? Are you on scholarship?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that idea.
These kids are moving like 3 or 4 times over a 5-year period. I'm saying, like, you can move once, get out of jail card free if your coach leaves, and then if you want to leave again, you got to sit
going
out.
in the transfer portal is looking to go and sit somewhere for a year. But you're right. That might mean
it's like the guy on Arizona, the center. He's Pac-12, all first team. I don't know, average 16 points, 9 rebounds. And he leaves U of A, a great school, to go somewhere else because it's all about money. Like, I know he's got the right to do that, but I'm just tired personally. I guess I'm the old curmudgeon of these players jumping around.
I agree, but like, thanks to Ed O'Bannon and everything that's taking place, is like,
I'm saying you can still pay them. I mean,
but who's going to pay who's going to pay the kid to sit on the bench? Like, oh, he's coming in next year. We're paying him $600.
I'm talking about someone who's first team or second team, all league. Like, those guys are going to play. They just want more money.
Right.
Why don't they just go and ask for a raise? Annual performance review. You know what? Yes. My appraisal value should be a little higher because I led the team in points, rebounds, and
assists. There should be an arbitration process.
There should be an arbitration process.
With the school, yes. Let's make this all performance-based. Get some analytics, guys. Let's anonymize every kid and say, here's what you're getting paid. Sorry, it's based on what framework we use, and NoSQL.
An algorithm.
NoSQL algorithm.
Yeah, I'll write the code.
Moorhead State point guard, 12 points a game. Let's call it $48,500.
Hold on. $80,000.
I don't think we'll solve it ever, but it needs to be solved. There needs to be a lot of people in a room to figure out what's going on in college athletics. And it needs to happen quick, or else it's going to get out of control.
I agree.
All right, Death Row.
Death Row. Let's take them out. Big Ben Kwin at Big Ben Kwin _ TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, X, Facebook, what have you. Download, listen, and subscribe. 5-star review us anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're more of a live podcast person, you can watch us each week on nofilter.net, YouTube, Caffeine TV, and more. On demand or live. I'm Kwin. He's Big Ben, and he's trying not to get you paid, kids.
You can have your money, but just like let's get what you're worth, or the true value, I think, that you're worth. And I mean, do you get paid an exorbitant amount of money for not doing much work? No, you get paid for what you like. This is a meritocracy.
Performance-based pay.
There we go.
Boom.
PvP.
There you go. Shout out to Santa Clara Lacrosse.